You've tuned in to the 49ers Rush podcast, and here is your host, John Chapman.
All right, 49ers fans, it is time for some more 49ers football. The bye week, man, it's different on a Sunday when you don't get to watch your team, or I guess, the last 2-3 weeks. We had a Thursday night game, a Monday night game, then bye week, but there's just something about life that is better when your team plays on Sunday. It's just something special, and we got a great week this week. It is Thanksgiving. There's all kinds of great stuff going on. We have an unusual amount of football on this week with 3 Thursday night games, which I'm really, really excited about. You know, Thanksgiving's just always been one of my favorite weeks of the year, so really excited about that. And, man, to be honest with you, the bye week could have gone better if you're a 49ers fan. We didn't even play, but we kind of won through proxy. The fighting Grudens and the Oakland Raiders managed to get a win, and by doing so, vaulted the 49ers into the number 1 draft slot as of now. Now, a lot of people have been saying we have the same record as the Arizona Cardinals and the Oakland Raiders. We're all 2-8, all 3 of us. But we beat the Raiders, therefore they should pick in front of us. No, it's not based on head-to-head or any of those things. The criteria for draft order, number 1 is record. Number 2 is strength of schedule. It usually does not go past that. We have one of the easiest strengths of schedule in the entire NFL, which hurts. Obviously, that it sounds bad to have the worst record and the easiest strength of schedule. So if you have a harder strength of schedule, then that hurts you in the draft order process. Now, if strength of schedule is tied, then it goes to division tiebreakers, then conference tiebreakers, and then the coin flip, which doesn't happen very often. Obviously, it happened last year with the Raiders again, and it looks like, man, we're kind of pushing towards that. As of now, our strength of schedule rating is a .48, meaning the majority of teams we have played have been below 500, whereas the Raiders are .5 exactly, and the Arizona Cardinals .515. So we have one of the easiest schedules in the entire NFL. There's only one team that is in consideration for one of the top picks that has an easier schedule than us as of now, and that's the New York Giants. However, they still have to play the Patriots. They still have some tough games. So I think at the end of the season, based on how things are now, it's still looking like we will win almost all the tiebreakers for strength of schedule. And then again, it goes division tiebreakers, things like that. But as of now, it's pretty difficult to see the 49ers getting more than just 2 more victories. I do think that we will win another game. I think we're going to win this week, actually. But, you know, a 4-12 record basically locks up a top 7 pick with our strength of schedule is where that will go to. So this week, let's talk just a little bit about this. We are playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the fighting Jameis Winstons. He is back starting, and they have had a very, very rough year. They are 3-7, so just one more win than us, which is crazy because they started out so promising with Fitzmagic, just all the things that were going on there, and they just took a nosedive. You know, if we go back through and kind of look at what they have done well and what they have done poorly, you know, they won their first 2 games, and then they beat the Browns in overtime in Week 7, and after that, it's just been loss. They lost to the Giants 35-8, very similar fashion to us, and so we get to travel to Tampa Bay, and we will be playing. It is the early game out there at Tampa Bay. It's going to be a blast just because these 2 teams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers, are very, very simple and very similar, and what I mean by that is we both have 2 of the worst secondaries in the NFL, and in fact, the numbers support that. You know, if we look at just defenses as a whole, we have both allowed some of the most passing touchdowns in the NFL. So Tampa Bay has allowed 25 touchdown passes, which is the most in the entire NFL, and they're tied with the Rams, but the Rams have played an additional game, and that was with 6 touchdown passes from Patrick Mahomes last week. So those numbers are skewed just a little bit. The 49ers, however, we are 6th. We have allowed 21 touchdown passes. And probably the most mind-boggling mind-boggling stat between these two teams and why I think we're so similar, especially our defenses. They only have one interception on the entire year, their defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. We only have two. The next team, which is the Dallas Cowboys, they have four. So if you add both of our team's interceptions, we still wouldn't beat third place for least amount of interceptions. And, if you want to put that into perspective, the Chicago Bears, who are in first place, have 18 interceptions. We have 2. The Tampa Bay Bucks have 1. So this is going to be an interesting game because both of our offenses are very, very potent. We pass the ball well. We put up a lot of points. In fact, according to Vegas, this is going to be the second highest scoring game of the entire week. The over-under is set at 55 points, which is second only to the Saints and Atlanta. So, it's funny to think that, we do have a very active offense that has been very productive. Nick Mullins, he's done great things for us so far in 2 starts, and hopefully that will continue with us. Now, jumping back to Tampa Bay, their offense is legit. They have put up the most offensive yards in the entire NFL. Now, they haven't scored the most points, but as far as yards and first down go, they are number 1, and it's not really close. But the flip side of that is their defense has given up the most points in the entire NFL. In fact, if you jump back to 2 weeks ago, they were on pace to allow the most passing yards in the history of the NFL since we expanded to 16 games. Their secondary is way worse than ours. We have Richard Sherman, who has played lights out, but the problem is he doesn't rotate, and he's just one guy. So he stays on the left side, defensive left, and he can take out one guy. That's fine, but most teams do not send their number 1 wide receiver over there. And if I could say anything about our defense that is a good thing, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 4 stud wide receivers. And because Sherman will isolate one of those and take them out of the game predominantly, that's going to be great because they have Mike Evans, who is their number 1, Chris Godwin, who is a sophomore wide receiver out of Penn State. If you listen to all my draft stuff from 2 years ago, I was very high on him. I had a mid-first round grade on him. They got him the second round, was an absolute steal. I think he will be a star in this league. Deshaun Jackson and Adam Humphries. So they're very, very potent, similar to us in the fact that their run game is not, their running backs are efficient, but definitely not a lot of star power there. Matt Breida will be the most talented running back in this by far. Offensive line's okay, but that's kind of their offense. Now, defensively, they have an amazing front 7, but they have a lot of injuries, namely Vinnie Curry, Jason Pierre-Paul, who used to play for the Giants, the firecracker incident. That guy's pretty famous. Gerald McCoy, he's going to be up there with DeForest Buckner and might even be past DeForest Buckner. And the fact that he is unreal. He has been an all-pro in this league. He is definitely top 3 to 4. I would put Buckner right behind him. Buckner hasn't had the best year. A lot of that I'm going to put on the defensive coordinator. Nobody in our defense has actually improved from last year. I'm going to put that on Salah, but my love and or not hate. I don't hate Salah. I actually like him a lot. I just don't think he's ready for a gig like this. But anyway, that's kind of what it is. This game is going to be a pretty entertaining game as far as offense goes, back and forth, because again, turnovers and sacks, probably not going to be very much. While the Tampa Bay Bucks, the strength of their entire team is their wide receiver core or their front 7 on defense, but our offensive line is pretty solid. And if Nick Mullins can continue to get the ball out early, which he has done through 2 starts, I think we're going to be just fine. I see us winning this game. Vegas has Tampa Bay as 3.5-point favorites. But again, I really do think that this is beyond a winnable game for us, especially with Jameis Winston. If we're going to get turnovers from anybody in this league, it's going to be from this team. Jameis Winston is beyond careless with the ball. It just makes the worst mistakes ever. But when he is on, he is on. And it's beyond impressive. So, real quick, a couple more things. We are going to jump now to the giveaway, which I know some people are really excited about. If you missed out on this, that's okay. We'll be having more of these. Gameday Sports and Memorabilia. They are awesome. They sponsor our podcast, and we really appreciate all that they do for us. They gave us an autographed Frank Gore mini helmet, one of the greatest 49ers ever. That guy's still playing. He's incredible. And so I put up on my Twitter feed, all you had to do was retweet, say something positive, follow the show, and go ahead and hit subscribe. And the turnout was great. I really do appreciate everybody that listens. I wish that I could give something to everybody that is out there, but it just doesn't work that way. So what I had happen is we tallied up all the numbers, put them in a spreadsheet for everybody that participated, and I just had my wife pick a number, one out of all of the participants, and it lined up, and the winner of the Frank Gore autographed mini helmet that was given to us by Gameday Sports and Memorabilia, head over there, can't suggest that enough, is none other than Quest46, awesome name first off, at KirkphilBrook05. Hope you are listening today. Congratulations, this is yours. All you got to do now is just hit me up on Twitter, just private message me or send me a direct message, however you want to call that. Let me know your address, and I'll get that in the mail to you. So I will cover shipping and all that stuff, and I'll get that to you. I'm going to be sad to see this bad boy go. I love Frank Gore. He is just a stud. So congrats again to Quest46 at KirkphilBrook05. At KirkphilBrook05. So go ahead and hit me up on Twitter at JL_Chapman. You follow me, so I know you know where that's at. And to everybody else, stay tuned. We're hoping to have some more giveaways as the season goes on. But until that, head over to Gameday Sports and Memorabilia. Those guys are just the best. If you don't know what to get your son or your friend, whether they're a Niners fan or not, head over to the website. They have pages and pages of memorabilia, helmets, jerseys, cards, posters, all kinds of stuff. Mini helmets, I think, are the best gift ever because you can put it in your office and hold pens, pencils, like all that stuff. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it just looks awesome. Show everybody who your team is and all that stuff, and jerseys, of course. Now, let's jump to where the 49ers are right now as far as injuries go because, man, any team, once we get to Week 11, now we're going into Week 12, you're going to have injuries. It is possible that we're going to get at least two starters back on offense and perhaps another starter back on, one starter back on offense and two on defense. Now, practice yesterday, as far as Monday went, both Reuben Foster and Jaquiski Tartt were back practicing, which is wonderful. We need all of the help we can get, and obviously Reuben Foster is an all-pro type player. Jaquiski Tartt has been up and down. And as the season has gone, his play has improved. Still lots of very positive splash plays and lots of huge negative plays that show up if we can get some consistency out of him. I think health is kind of the key because he understands what to do. It's just execution. And I just think more repetition, more film, he is going to get there. Now, the interesting thing about Reuben Foster is I've gone back and broken down Fred Warner's play this year, and it's been exceptional. What we have gotten out of this rookie is just been unreal, but his best games have all come when Reuben Foster is out. And so I'm curious to see. It's weird because he's playing Mike no matter what, whether Reuben Foster's in there or not. But it just seems like his play drops whenever Reuben Foster's in there. So if we can get both of those guys hitting on all cylinders, this defense can become legitimate. Now, on the offensive side, Pierre Garçon does seem like his knee is still bothering him. He wasn't out there Monday, but this is somewhat typical. He is over 30 years old, and he keeps getting lots of vet days, but we need him back. Also, Marquise Goodwin was out as well. Don't think that this is necessarily injury-related. I don't think that there's any concern that he will play. He will be playing this week. But if we could have both those guys back with Nick Mullins, if you remember, Nick Mullins' first start, he targeted Pierre Garçon more than anybody else. So if we could bring back that element, that would definitely help our undrafted free agent signal caller out considerably. Now, bad news is Joshua Garnett, the former first-round pick under Chip Kelly, offensive lineman from Stanford, he had season-ending thumb surgery. He broke his hand, so it's crazy to think. but he could already be done with the 49ers if this injury is as bad as we think it is, and he's just had so many injuries. And this front office, Kyle Shanahan's made many, many comments. I don't think we've ever had this guy for more than 3 games in the past 2 years, and that he said that before the season started, and that's going to be true again this season. So basically what we need is consistency, and we have seen this front office say durability and putting the team first. And not that you can blame a guy for getting injured or breaking his hand. You can't put that on him, but it doesn't change the fact that you don't want to be a team that relies on people that are constantly getting injured, which seems like we have a lot of those, especially with Jaquiski Tart, Jimmy Ward, Kilo Witherspoon. I mean, you can just go down the list. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. It does seem like we will kind of be not at full swing. We still are out several quarterbacks and running backs and whatever else. But hopefully this week we get back on track and we get in the win column. Again, thank you guys, everybody, for listening. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, head over at JL_Chapman, JL_CHAPMAN. I know it's a short week, but we didn't have a game to break down. We will be back in full swing, hopefully with the W next week. Stay strong, faithful, and good luck, Niners.